We know him as the famed king of Sparta, a husband of the most beautiful woman in the known world. When the Spartan queen Helen was abducted by Prince Paris of Troy, Menelaus went to Mycenae to his brother Agamemnon and convinced him to wage an all-out war against the Trojans. But who was really Menelaus, and what is his backstory prior to the events described in Homer's Iliad? In this episode, we talk about the early life and reign of King Menelaus of Sparta. Ancient Greeks were known for the strong emphasis of their lineage. Many aristocratic families across Hellas traced their ancestry to the legendary heroes of the Mycenaean age. Throughout the Dark Ages, stories and tales of one's lineage were orally transmitted across the generations, often resulting in deviation from their historicity. Had the Greeks had access to MyHeritage, they would have been able to track all of their heroic ancestors with absolute certainty. MyHeritage is the world's leading family history and DNA testing service, with over 19 billion easily accessible records, something that would have been dream come true for any Hellenic aristocrat. With its very simple yet highly accurate DNA test, MyHeritage makes it possible to find family members you were searching for, or even those that you didn't know you had. Another great feature allows you to bring color, quality, and animation to the old black and white photographs of your ancestors, transforming history into the present. MyHeritage allows you to fully reconstruct and have fun exploring the genealogy of your family. You can utilize the Instant Discoveries option to quickly add new branches and information to your family tree. All of this you can do with only a few clicks by selecting Discoveries and then Instant Discoveries on the main menu. You can access everything in a 14-day free trial at the link on the screen or in the description, and if you like it, you will also get a 50% discount. There are two versions of the genealogy of Menelaus and his elder brother Agamemnon. The two brothers are typically described as sons of Atreus, the king of Mycenae, and his wife Aerope. According to another version, Menelaus and Agamemnon were grandsons of King Atreus through his son Pleisthenes. However, Pleisthenes died young, presumably shortly after his two sons were born, resulting in King Atreus raising his grandchildren. Either way, the reign of Atreus represented a turbulent time in Mycenae, with the dynastic blood feud raging between Atreus and his twin brother Thyestes. Originally, Atreus had seized the throne upon exiling his brother and having the sons of Thyestes killed. Menelaus and his brother were raised on the Mycenaean royal court, although never completely safe from the wrath of Thyestes' faction. It was said that the whole royal line, tracing its lineage to legendary Pelops, was cursed due to their founder seizing the rule of the city of Pisa by trickery and murder. As King Atreus established his rule over Peloponnese, he defeated and killed Hylas, the son of Heracles, at the Isthmus of Corinth, resulting in much of Greece acknowledging the son of Pelops as the overlord. Unfortunately for Atreus, all his might was not to ultimately save him from the curse that had been bestowed upon his family. Despite being at the peak of his powers, the king was assassinated in a plot carried out by one of the court members, Aegisthus. As it turned out, Aegisthus was a son of Thyestes by his own daughter, Pelopia. In the chaos that followed, Thyestes was able to return to Mycenae and declared himself the king of the Achaeans. Menelaus and Agamemnon were forced to leave the city in order to save themselves. They fled to Sicyon, where they were welcomed by Polyphetes, the basileus of the city. However, proximity of Sicyon to Mycenae meant that Menelaus and his brother were far from being safe. It was clear that they had to abandon the Peloponnese. The two brothers then crossed into Aetolia and based themselves in Calydon, when they were accommodated by King Oeneus. As newly crowned Thyestes did not appear to have the same legitimacy or support that Atreus had, several factions were defecting towards the Atreids, and things started to inch closer to a civil war. Menelaus naturally supported his elder brother's claim to the Mycenaean throne and started preparing to cross back into the Peloponnese. One of the chief allies of the brothers was Tyndareus, the Basileus of Sparta, and the father, or more precisely stepfather, of Princess Helen, the woman believed to be the most beautiful in the known world. Helen's real father was said to be none other than Zeus himself. As the alliance was forged between Tyndareus, Agamemnon, and Menelaus, the Atreid army emerged from Lacedaemon and marched straight to the Achaean capital. The battle was very brief, resulting in Agamemnon and Menelaus being victorious. Thyestes was quickly overthrown and exiled to Cythera, an island south of the Peloponnese, where he would spend the rest of his days. Agamemnon was now crowned the new king of Mycenae. Menelaus set his sights on Sparta, where he was to ask Tyndareus for the hand of Helen. He was far from being the only one, as dozens of suitors from all over Greece soon arrived, casting their bid to marry the world's most beautiful woman. Menelaus did not go to Sparta in person, instead being represented by his brother, the most powerful ruler in Hellas. Agamemnon sought to rebuild the power and influence of his father, and marriage was one of the best ways to do so. The Mycenaean king married Tyndareus' other daughter, Clytemnestra, and ultimately managed to convince the Spartan ruler to marry Helen to Menelaus. Eventually, Tyndareus agreed to step down from the Spartan throne in favor of Menelaus, who then officially became the Basileus of Sparta. Menelaus' territory included Laconia, with his palace center located in Sparta. It perhaps wasn't the biggest or the wealthiest palace in Greece, but it certainly did not mean that Menelaus wasn't a powerful and influential ruler. After all, he was the brother of Agamemnon, and he did have most other princes and rulers across Greece take an oath of loyalty towards him and his wife. Little did he knew that the oath was soon to be put to the test. Across the Aegean lay the powerful and wealthy city of Troy, just outside the Mycenaean sphere of influence. Slowly but surely it became clear that Agamemnon's appetite for expansion was ever increasing, and Trojans were keen on deepening diplomatic relations with the Achaean palace centers. Delegates were dispatched from Ilion under the leadership of Paris, the younger son of King Priam of Troy. Paris was sent from Troy to Sparta on a diplomatic mission to secure a friendly relationship with an important Mycenaean center. What happened next was to forever change the destiny of everyone involved on either side of the Aegean Sea. While being a guest on Menelaus' court, Prince Paris fell in love with Queen Helen. This intrigue soon turned into a full-blown scandal, as Menelaus' wife was abducted by the Trojans. Paris and his companions quickly escaped Laconia and embarked on a ship sailing for Troy. The abduction of Helen instantly became much more than a problem between the Spartan king and the Trojan prince. Menelaus instantly went to Mycenae, calling on his brother to declare war on Troy. King Agamemnon complied, and soon enough armies were raised from all corners of Greece for the imminent war against the Trojans. What followed was perhaps the most legendary military conflict of antiquity, a terrible war that would last for no less than 10 years. It was told and retold by subsequent generations until it was finally immortalized through the masterpiece of Homer known as the Iliad. Our series on the heroes of the Trojan War will continue, so make sure to subscribe and press the bell button in order to get notified on the upcoming content. Special thanks to History with Sai, Nico, Chris Ernst, Fred Leckie, ABC Sheikh, Adrian, Argyris Margaritis, Derek Wildstar, Georgette Gravet, I Exist, Labelle Olmier, Padre91, Panayotis Yiannopoulos, Tim Lane, Stephen Ball, Hual Sally Briggs, Mercy and Thane, Luis Aldames, Theseus the Athenian, Odysseus, Harvey Math, Vineyard Illumination, and Estate Care for their continuous support. If you would like to partake in the decision making on the future episodes, feel free to join us on Patreon.